Good evening, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm Don.
I'm getting a little punch drunk. Lost an hour of sleep, and now I'm in a red room. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here anymore. What's what's going on? How's it hanging there, Donny boy?
Oh, a little bit to the left. But no, I've had a great week. I got my PlayStation 5 controller back, which is great. But then, and I kind of forgot until the day of. This is Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered. If you know, you know. But a wonderful 30-year-old JRPG that proved to me back in the day that stuff other than Final Fantasy can be good, and just as classic game. And I've been playing it a little bit on the Discord, so pop in there, guys. I
Yes.
am from time to time just playing some video games. There's a voice channel in there called Playing Video Games, and that's where I do some like mundane stuff. I was talking to Dave. It's like I will do the more superhero centric stuff on the Superhero Speak channel, but again, you could catch me on random nights just playing something on the Discord. So pop in. I'd love to have that
Yes.
happen.
And as always, the link to join the Discord is down below. So yeah, that's definitely we got that working. There will be more um streaming stuff too. We're trying to work out how to stream on Twitch and YouTube with the volume working on the game. Because I actually was experimenting with that this week too and didn't get it working. Hello, Kasan.
We're
Hello,
almost there.
Frosty.
We'll figure it out.
I leave for Frosty says I leave for a couple weeks and John is gone. Yes, John's last episode was 2 weeks ago.
Make sure to
You
check
should
that
go.
out.
You can go check that out. It's over on the channel as everything else. And yeah, there's a tribute to him up there and lots of good stuff. There's no animosity. It wasn't like bad blood or anything. He wanted to go off and write the great American novel. We wish him well. So yeah. Um
Absolutely.
and
How about you, Dave? How was your week?
uh uneventful mostly. Um I did replace my studio lights. They um one of them had gone. Oh, Chris is here again tonight. Hey Chris. Yes, before you start recording. Aha. Um so I got my new studio lights. I'm playing with colors. As you can see, I have a red glow. Makes me feel kind of evil. Uh having
It
fun
does
with
that.
it. Having fun with it. And yeah, it's for us Catholics, it's the start of the Lenten season. So this is where we get to contemplate how evil we are, and that's thus the red lights. Um, yeah, and that's I mean, typical Boston. I am tired. I know it's only 7:30 technically for us, but I'm tired because I lost
Yeah.
an hour of sleep last night because we had to get up early to run some errands this morning, my girlfriend and I, and
Yeah.
then I had to get here and get set up. So yes, but the other thing I did this week, I wanted to point out at the top of the show, I forgot. I released our first only members only video. You have to join the channel. There is a link to join the channel in the description down below as well. And I'm going to try to about out. The goal is 2 members only videos a month going forward. So hopefully I can stick to that. And it's a reason to join. It's this video is Confessions of a Podcaster. I gave some insights about what's going on with the podcast and my feelings with where we're at and the changes and all of that. And I think you guys, if you're, and that's the reason it's a members only video. I'm being kind of completely honest, putting it out on Front Street. It's something that is really only interesting to fans of the show, not something a regular person on YouTube is going to want to watch.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan, you should join and check out some exclusive videos. But with that said, what do we got on tap for tonight? So on deck for tonight, we're going to talk a little about Alan Ritchson and about him playing Batman, as he had made a recent comment I want to talk about. The Russo brothers have plans on how to stop leaks, and RDJ is writing Doom's backstory. So there were some things related to Doomsday that came out, and then finally, oh, I forgot the last and the main one, but Daredevil fan theory about Muse. I want to talk about that a little bit. And I forgot to add it in the slide. Silly me. We will definitely be talking Invincible season one.
All right.
Watched season one. That's as far as I got. I know we're on season three. I didn't even watch. I know there's a special for Adam Eve and Adam Eve. Sorry, and I didn't watch that either. I just watched the first 8 episodes, season one. But we'll be talking about that because I know Son has been waiting to hear my opinion. I know that Don, you've been waiting a long time to get me to watch it. So we'll be talking about all of that. But before we get to all of that, I have a story. I heard this story and I thought it was interesting. So there's Frosty says about time. There is
Hmm.
4 people on a train. It's an Englishman, a Frenchman, an old lady, and a young blonde, and they're sharing a compartment on a train, and they're going through the French countryside, and they go into a tunnel, and it's pitch black for a couple minutes, and as they come out of the tunnel, the Frenchman is rubbing his cheek, and the old maid thinks, or the old lady thinks, oh, he must have groped the young girl and she smacked him. And the young girl's thinking, oh, he must have tried to grope the old maid and thinking he was groping me and she smacked him. And the Frenchman is thinking, oh, that Englishman must have groped one of these women. They thought it was me and smacked me. But the Englishman is thinking, man, I can't wait till we get into another dark tunnel. I can smack that Frenchman again. So that is an appropriate joke of the week.
uh,
Damn French. Was that out loud? No, not at all.
Not at all. Right.
So yes. So with all of that said, you got to get something to think about. And while you're thinking about all of that, here is another evil man, Dark Dawn, to tell you where you can find more superhero speak.
Doth dawn here. And you must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. You also will like this video. And while you're on the HoloNet, go to superheroespeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated gundog named Brie Lawson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show. Better listen to my alter ego there. You don't want to be trapped in the box with a Gundark.
No, you don't want that at all. No, and you do, you know, and with all of that, you should also check out becoming a member. Support us a little bit. It's not a lot of money. There's plenty of perks, so check it out. Top tier, you get a free T-shirt. That's all I'm saying. Darth Dawn won't kill you then. Uh, all right, what do you say? We're gonna do something we haven't done in a while. We're gonna actually take a commercial break, and we'll be back with the news. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the ad I had queued up?
Uh-oh.
I think this is the one. Let's see.
Some podcasts are like this.
My day is 6 a.m. to noon, and I'm not crazy. You're crazy for thinking it takes 24 hours, just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago. My second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m. That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week. Stack that up over a month, I'm gonna kick your butt. Stack it up over a year, you're toast. Stack it up over 5 years, my entire life is different.
And some podcasts are like this.
Look at a bank. What is a bank? What is also a bank? A river bank. Right. And what does the river bank do? It controls the flow. The flow of what? The flow of the current. The currency, right? So if it's controlling the currency, it's also controlling the what? The flow. The flow of what? The cash flow. So what? Money moves like water. So if I understand where the water is going to go, I just have to position myself where the cash flow is going to be next, and I will get wet. Welcome to the big leagues,
But
motherfucker.
only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
Little background on this cat. Yes, he was in Spy Kids, but also he was on this TV show called Fantasy Island.
I remember that.
And he was still doing that TV show by the time this movie was out. So he was trying to like not be sensual Latino old, zaddy. He was trying to go back into like murder mode, but he was having a very hard time. So he had to like rewatch his episode like a billion times to kind of like tone it down.
That's what okay. It was like,
I still feel like he didn't succeed.
no, it's still sensual and like
I will, so sensual.
I will destroy you.
Oh, my old friend.
Oh,
How I wish to lay in your lap as you
how I
die.
wish to take you by the throat and throttle you. Throttle you. I will push my fingers into your eye sockets and be inside of you.
Double penetrated you with my
Double
palm.
penetrate you.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
Well, you asked for it, Dave, and you got it. Double penetration. Here we go.
Exactly. Yes. Gross. And a quick reminder that if you are a podcaster and you're a fan of the show, or even if you hate us,
Yeah, we really don't check.
how do you become a member? There's a link down below. There should also be a join somewhere if you're watching us on YouTube. You become a member by sending money to my deal. No, Thrawn, no. It's all legit right through YouTube. All right. Again, if you like us, you don't like us, we don't care. We will advertise other podcasts for free on our channel. Just send me a email, dave@superheroespeak.com, and I'll hook you up. With just a nice little 1-minute video. We'll play it. We'll advertise you because that's how we roll here. All right. Let's do some news. All right. This is what I wanted to. You know what? This is not the right layout. There we go. That's what I wanted to fix it so we were bigger.
Yes, make sure we're bigger than, Mr. Shredded Six Pack.
Exactly.
Good call.
Because we got kegs. Anyway, as I was saying, speaking of shredded six packs, you don't get much more shredded than Alan Ritchson, who plays Reacher in the Reacher TV show. He was obviously Aquaman on Smallville. Like, he's been around for a while. He's in the nerdosphere, as it were. And it was recently asked in an interview because he is a fan casting to play Batman in the DCU, and he was recently asked in an interview if he would play Batman, and he said he would put the costume on for free. Like, he loves the character and wants to play him. So I'm kind of curious what you think of this idea of him playing Batman. I know a lot of fans love the idea. Just curious of your opinions there, Don.
I mean, my opinion is whenever you ask some Hollywood male actor about Batman, everyone's going to say yes. The for
Okay.
free part, okay, I don't quite believe that, but I mean, hey, James Gunn, if you need to save money, here we go. Um, with that said, though, when I look at the actor, I'm really not getting Batman vibes or Bruce Wayne vibes. I'm really more getting Powder Toast Man vibes. You remember that from Ren and Stimpy? So, um,
I love when you
maybe,
sneak in an overlay.
um, but seriously though, maybe like Kane Marco. I know I'm not seeing him as Batman, and I'm trying not to let my bias creep in that I think it's ridiculous of how many. Like at this point, the list of actors who have not played Batman, is going to be shorter than the list of people that have played Batman. But I realize we're going to have a new Batman because we're going to have multiple Batmans, which
Yes, of course you
I'll
gotta have
let that
multiple
go.
Batman.
That's my thoughts on that.
I say let him try. Let him at least audition. If you love the character that much, where you're saying you're willing to play him for free, then you respect the character on some level, and I think you do a decent job because of that. Where I do think there are people that are just gonna, like you said, there's a long line of people who want to play Batman but don't get the character. So I kind of hope somebody that loves the character will get him. And yeah, this has been a fan casting for a while, so I don't see an issue with it. Will it happen? Uh, I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, he's in Reacher, and I think he's in another show as well. So I don't know if he would walk away from all of that too. If you have you watched Reacher?
No.
That's a awesome show. You really should watch it. Like he's actually really good in it, and um, I could definitely see I could definitely see him as Batman. But that's my opinion.
Okay.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Doomsday because the Russo brothers, in a recent Collider interview, were talking about working on the movie and how things have leaked before and that they've got plans to make sure nothing leaks. One of them being like no cameras are allowed on set, so no leaked set images. Um, and it's going to be all hush hush. Everyone's on deep lockdown, as it were, for this movie, which leads me to two thoughts on that. The first one being the only way you can really have absolutely no set photos leak is you have to do everything on stage, soundstage, on green screen. Um,
Which
and
they
when
said they were going to do.
I
So
know, and
they are going to do that more.
I know, and I hate that. Like, I'm sorry, as good as The Mandalorian looks, you can still tell at times that it's fake, you know?
Yeah.
So, um, you need to go out in the real world every once in a while, I think. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you definitely do. I don't think you're ever going to prevent, because you're right. You can't, if you do everything on a sound stage, people are going to point out the CGI and the varying differences. But, I get them trying to stop the leaks. I mean, I'm surprised though, why don't they use like the Tyrion method, right? From Game of Thrones when he was the hand of the king and he wanted to find out like who would leak shit.
Uh-huh.
So he just told everybody, like everyone got like a different fake story.
Right,
And
right.
then as soon as one became known, he's like, "Oh, that's my leak." Um,
That's yeah, I
so
mean, it's funny because that's actually a real method that companies do use when they think they
yeah,
have someone leaking information. So, yeah.
so they're fighting an ever going battle, I believe. But I totally get it. I mean, it sucks when that shit gets spoiled. particularly nowadays when you just log on to YouTube, thumbnails and shit like that ruin stuff. Like, so,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know, which don't
uh,
get me wrong, if you don't want something spoiled, don't go on the internet, but I don't know, still.
the other point I'm trying to make, and the image that we're looking at right here, and this image too, these were already leaked. These are all concept
Yeah.
images for Doomsday that leaked all over the internet, and there was no comments at first, and then they were confirmed to actually be concept art for Doomsday. And now, again, it's concept art. It doesn't necessarily mean the stuff that was revealed is
Mhm.
going to be in the movie. There's a picture of T'Challa that was in. Pardon me, that was mixed in. It definitely doesn't look like Chadwick Boseman. It's a different actor. Um, there was the picture of Doom. There's this picture where you see Star Lord with the white Vision, and there's another picture. There's like another picture. It looks like medieval times. Again, it just led to the whole concept of like there will be a multiverse in Doomsday, and it'll be brought together like it was in the comics with the Secret Wars.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that, but there was already a leak. They haven't even started filming yet. I don't even know if they have a finalized script, but the concept art was leaked already. So you can't, unfortunately, I don't. That's my point. I, I don't think as hard as you're going to try. There are people that think they're going to get either money or famous for leaking stuff. We live in a world full of social media where people want to post stuff and get pictures out there and get likes and get followers.
Yeah.
It's I think it's going to leak either way, unfortunately. And then you got actors like Tom Holland working for you who
Yeah.
unfortunately has leaked a lot of information they weren't supposed to. So that is uh that is my thoughts on that. You know.
Yeah.
Did you see the
Absolutely.
did you see all of those concept images that were leaked?
Yeah, but I'm really trying not to remember them, to be honest with you, because I don't want it, to get spoiled. And honestly, I do hope it is just all fake and a part of some, mole finding operation. That's
Could
my
be.
hope.
It could be. Could very well be. The other piece of information that recently came out about Doomsday, and I found this interesting um, to a point, and this is something that Marvel has definitely done before. But Robert Downey Jr. will be writing Doom's backstory for Doomsday.
Yeah.
And this is something that's a common practice, and where it comes from is the actor is performing the role. So what they're going to do is they're going to write up a character bio that of stuff that isn't supplied in the script so that they know where to act from, you know.
Yeah.
Um do you think though, like, it bothers me a little bit because I feel like, as we've said before, if you're going to do the stunt casting, and this is stunt casting, I don't care how much you want to argue with me. If you're
Agreed.
going to do the stunt casting of bringing in RDJ to play Doctor Doom, you should have a fully fleshed out idea of how that works. Like if this is an alternate
Hmm.
version of Tony Stark, that should be fully fleshed out. If it's not fully fleshed out and you're going to let the actor do what they want, it really scares me. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I'm already skeptical of this casting, and I think you have a very good point that them putting this out there, like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. is going to write the backstory. Like, you don't have this all fucking figured out already.
Right.
So yeah, when I just saw the name of the article that you sent, I'm just like, I mean, so yeah, that I think it looks it gives more fuel to my just waiting on the X-Men fire. I'm gonna have an open mind. We're obviously going to consume the content and talk about it here on Superhero Speak, but I am very, very worried, particularly when I match this up with what Bo DeMeo was talking about in his video. It really, really, really worries me because again, I do accept this is a different universe. It cannot be an exact carbon copy of Marvel 616 in the comics, and a lot of reasons to be versatile and make different choices, but just to be doing it this laissez-faire, it just no wonder they're losing money. We just know if they planned it out a lot better, like they did, with the Infinity Saga, you could see what kind of success it'll have. But it's
So
just I don't know. I've really lost a lot of faith in Kevin Feige. I don't think he has as much control and good input as he used to, or maybe he never did, and we just wanted to put him on a pedestal because we did have a good,
all
saga
right.
run.
Okay. I did not watch the DeMeo video. What was it he said specifically that makes you worried about this?
Because he was being told by executives to be less of a comic book creator,
Oh, okay.
to create, be less of a comic collector. Put your
Right.
collector brain away. Don't be so beholden to the source material. Make something new. Make something different. And he refused to do that, which is why X-Men '97 season 1 is a masterpiece, basically, because of how much Bo DeMeo gets it and how faithful he is to the idea that was originally introduced in the comics, and how faithful he is to that source material. And he's even not exact, you know, but
Right.
it's close enough. You get it. It's a good translation. And just to hear that he's being actively encouraged to move away from that, and that there's not Disney leadership that are searching out those who are going to be more aware and cognizant and close to the source material to make sure that we're capturing those stories that made the whole thing fucking work in the first place. That's just really disappointing to me, and just makes me lose a little bit of hope. Even though I am waiting for the X-Men, it's like, well, fuck. How much of that are they going to, you think all this, are we going to get to the X-Men and like Professor X and Marvel Girl are fucking? Like, are we going to get that? Because put your collector brain away. So, anywho, that's
Ouch.
what yeah.
You know, this reminds me of a story. Wow. And I really didn't give a lot of thought about it until you just said this. When Disney first took over Marvel, I remember talking to, and I know a lot of people who have and still work for Marvel. So one, names will be remain out of this part of the conversation. However, um, when I first asked them, a lot of them just basically said, "Oh, they kind of just let us do our thing." Like no one really says anything. It's the same day to day as it's always been. And then somebody I know did a cover for Marvel, actually two times, did a cover for Marvel, and in the past, this person would tell me they would get maybe one or two notes and he'd make the quick change, and then that was it. He actually had covers rejected and um had to go through multiple edits before they got accepted. And the funny thing is, these were alt covers, and one was a comic store exclusive thing where it wasn't even like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't being advertised by Marvel. It wasn't being
Yeah.
um presented uh to the whole world. It was just through this one, you could only get it through this one comic store, and yet the brass kept saying, "Oh no, no, you can't do that." Stuff that like was never an issue before. Um and they were just shocked that they had to change it so much. And I mean, I guess I could tell you the one cover is a bunch of artists were doing um different Deadpool covers, and a couple were, I believe, yeah, it was like a tributes to Stan Lee, and Stan was still alive at the time. And the one is the original cover. Stan is holding Deadpool's head, holding a sword, and his body's standing next to him, and Deadpool's saying uh something about like "F you, Stan" or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right away they were like, you couldn't have the language on the cover, which this person knew that wouldn't fly because, yes, it's a cover. That's the first thing people see, and they got to be able to like put it on the newsstand. So okay, fine. Then it was um oh, and he was holding the sword up, and there was like blood on it. It's like, oh, you can't have that. You can't have that. Um, and then I don't remember what the third exact note was, but like he changed that, and like then it was, oh no, he had, and also he couldn't have him decapitated, you know. So
Mm.
we couldn't show that Stan Lee decapitated someone. So basically,
Yeah.
and it came, and there was a round robin. They said back and forth with Marvel, like they kept having to change it and change it. So finally, the cover is Stan is standing there holding the sword like a cane, and Deadpool's there, and he's like, "Really, Stan?" So like the joke is gone. It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
anymore, and it's just him and Stan Lee standing there, and it was just like, huh. And like this person was a well-known cover artist for Marvel for many years in the early 2000s. So it was just like has done many covers for them, and all of a sudden it was nope, can't do that. After Disney took over, which is funny because
Yeah.
he did apparently Stan did see the original at some point and was like he loved it. He thought it was funny, it was perfect, and nope, he wasn't, but they weren't allowed to use it. So it's 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 ridiculous. This is why DC Deceased sold so many books. Thrawn, you have to elaborate on that. So long story short, yeah, I do think there are too many. It's stories that I've heard about DC and Warner Brothers for a long time. It just seemed like there's maybe too many bean counters at
Yeah.
Disney who are afraid of the bottom line. It's going to end up hurting them in the long run. So it's not good. And our final news story is not a story, it's a fan theory. Um, if anyone watched my rant that I posted on Friday, there is a current fan theory about Daredevil Born Again. Of course, we did talk about the first two episodes on Wednesday. Um, and the fan theory is that Muse is going to end up being Foggy. Now, here's the thing. I know part of the fan theory, the theory did originate before the first episode aired, but there are still people who are saying that they believe that that's a possibility. And we did say in the first, uh, in our review, or I did, is there seems to be a theme of resurrection in the show. So, spoiler, if you haven't watched it yet, Foggy gets killed like in the first 5 minutes of episode one of Daredevil Born Again, and um, and we do know that they are introducing Muse into this season of Daredevil. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this, Don? Do you know anything about Muse uh, at all from the comics?
No, I can't say that I do. In fact, the only reason I even know that it's a theory slash possibility is because of you, Dave. So, but with that said, it seems plausible. It makes sense that they would go through the trouble of bringing the actor back for more than just killing him in the first episode.
Yeah.
and it would be a very emotional, very emotional thing between him and Matt Murdock, Daredevil and Muse. So, and what the hell else are they going to do, with the Daredevil series, other than Kingpin and Bullseye, which
Yeah.
they've already kind of introduced and dealt with. But um, so yeah, I don't really think there's any other way to make you care about another Daredevil villain that isn't also a Spider-Man villain, other than kind of,
Yeah.
okay, we've got Muse, we cross him over, meld him in with Foggy, who has this real big emotional connection with Matt Murdock, and then that really makes him for some good drama. So I think it's going to happen, and it makes sense that they would do that.
Right. And for those who aren't familiar, Muse is a character from the mid 2010s, I think, maybe. uh I can't remember exactly when those books came out. He is a Daredevil villain who is creating art by killing people, basically. Um, but his identity is never revealed. Uh, he is caught and defeated. I believe he's believed dead at this point in the comics, but like his true identity never gets revealed in the books. So I feel like there were times I felt like they were trying to create a Joker type villain for Daredevil in the comics with him,
Yeah, makes
and
sense.
that's part of like Joker's uh thing in the comics. You don't know who he really is. It's what makes him
Hmm.
more scary. So creating a villain for Daredevil that doesn't have like a known origin and knowing who he is does the same thing. But yeah, like it would be an interesting twist, right? Like Foggy isn't actually dead, or he was brought back by the hand and then turned into Muse. Um There are interviews where they have stated Foggy and Karen will be back for season 2. Yeah, that's thank you, Kasan. That was the other thing. Um, so they're spoiling the season to make sure the audience doesn't get discouraged by Foggy's stupid death. Stupid?
Yeah.
Um, I don't. Yeah, like it's funny because watch my rant that I posted on Friday because it was spawned by me watching Screen Crush's video where they said, Foggy had to die, and one of the things that they said was because he what you call it, his story was already told, and there was nothing more to say about Foggy. I think that was a stupid reasoning, but I also kind of feel like it works in the context of what the story that they're telling so far. And I've only watched the first 2 episodes.
Mhm.
It works because there's the whole thing about good and evil and going over the edge, and that's what pushes Matt over the edge to push, um, to, literally push, uh,
Yeah.
not Deadshot, um,
Bullseye.
Bullseye off the edge, off the roof, and almost kill him. So, um, like it works in that context. It works. There's also an argument that I didn't talk about in my rant is that they had written a different season. They had written a different show. Um, and then there was a lot of internal rejigging of the season because they went, no, let's not. They were totally, in a way, rebooting it. Like the other 3 seasons didn't exist. This was a brand new show that just happened to be the same 2 actors. And like a lot of people are like, that's dumb. And the fans complained. So
Okay.
that's why they brought Karen and Foggy back. But because they had already written a different season, they only had brought them back for like the first episode or 2, and then that would be it. Like they just reshot that stuff in the last minute, and I'm like, I, 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 I can see it, but I don't think that's it. I think a lot of it's Marvel is known for throwing smoke screens at stuff like this to confuse people, and I don't know. I think it's a good fan theory that it could be um, Foggy, but we'll see. Uh, Bullseye should have been after Fisk, the man who broke his back. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Kasan. Uh, the issue number is referenced. Okay. Let's see. I watched it, Dave. Don has seen my thoughts on the video. Uh-oh.
Yeah, check the Discord.
I haven't been on the Discord in the last couple days. The weird guy who approached Daredevil's new girl at her bookstore signing is Muse. It could be Thrawn. We'll see. And you look at the credits on IMDb, the guy's only listed on the one episode, but that doesn't mean anything. So we'll see. All right. Well, that's the news and our rumor that I wanted to talk about. So that only leaves our main topic. So before we get to that, let's take a quick break and we'll be back with our main topic. All right. So there are people who watch this show who have been after us for a while to talk about this show. I have not. I watched the first episode when it came out, and that was it. And then, of course, Don is now the co-pilot on this fun podcast, and he is a huge fan of Invincible. So he has been after me over and over again. And if people remember last week, I'd said that we were going to have a guest Wednesday. I said we were going to have a guest. The guest ended up having to reschedule. So I was like, what are we going to talk about? And Don's like, watch Invincible, damn it. So I buckled down and I watched the first season, right? I know we're on season 3, but I said, I can get through 8 episodes in a couple days, which I did. And we're going to talk about it. I guess everyone wants to know, what did I think, right? Oh, wait, let's see what Thrawn says. First he goes, never watched that show. Just seems like people only like it for the gore and not the story.
So let me rebut that. Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but let me say, Thrawn, I'm that, like, I don't like gore. I don't like just depressing shit, evil Superman. So I it really is the story that keeps me. I'm not here for the gore, and I still love the show.
You know, a lot of people didn't like Gore. It's why he didn't get elected
Oh,
president
even
back
though
in
he invented
2000.
the internet.
Kasan says it's the best superhero show on TV. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Frosty says, agreed, Kasan. Sorry, guys.
Okay, yeah. So obviously, elephant in the room. You're up. You
All right.
obviously don't feel the same way we do, Dave.
Hold on.
Let her rip. Okay.
Hold on. I am not here. I am not. First off, I'm not going to bash the show. I have some actual real criticisms on the show. But I would not say it is the best superhero TV show by a long shot. Number one, I would say the best animated superhero show was X-Men 97. Like
Agreed.
that was beyond amazing. It was some of the best written TV we have gotten in a long time. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say Daredevil Born Again will be the best superhero TV show of 2025. Like it hit the ground running. As long as they don't stumble after that, I think that's going to be the best show.
Yeah.
And Thrawn
as
says,
a power porn guy, I disagree with that.
Thrawn says Captain Power was the best superhero show ever, Kazan. Maybe. All right. So I had said, and here's the funny thing. I'm also going to state that my girlfriend's oldest son is a huge Invincible fan. He has read all of the comics. He has watched all the first 2 seasons. He's on season 3. He watches it he has like watching parties with friends and family, and like just he wears all the gear. And so him and I have been talking about it. Like he's another one. It's like, oh, you should watch Invincible. You'll love it. So like everyone's saying you got to watch it. You're going to love it. And love is such a strong word. Uh, so is hate. But I can't say that I hate it, but there is definitely some huge, huge issues with this show. And I'm going to start off with my main criticism is I feel like Robert Kirkman came up with an idea for an Elseworlds Superman story. And he presented it to DC, and they went, "No, well, that's a little too far. We don't want to present Superman as a conqueror." So he went, "Well, fine. I'm going to make my own comic book," and went out and made Invincible. And the reason I say that is at least 60% of this season feels like everything is a copy from DC on some level. This was originally going to be an Elseworlds series. It's one of the things with Watchmen, like those were all based on existing characters because it was going to be the what you call it, the characters that DC had bought at that point. Not I was going to say Amalgam. I can't remember the comic book company they bought in the 70s, and they were going to like do it, and then that story was written, and um, oh god, Alan Moore wrote that story, and they were like, "Nah, that doesn't work." So they switched it to all new characters, and it feels that way so much. And look, I get it when you're doing a superhero story, and you don't want to do origins, and you want to do shortcuts. You kind of do existing characters, but switch them around enough that they're their own character. But like, what was it? The Red Blur, is that what they called them? Is there Flash? Warrior Woman is Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Like they're all fucking like 100%. That was the Justice League. You know, like
Absolutely.
um, there's no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what this was. Um, and what's I think Frosty's asking, but what's wrong with that? It's just it in some ways it's lazy, but because you're just taking it's just like The Boys, and where it's like, let's take the superhero genre and turn it on its
I
head
don't agree. I
and
don't agree.
do something different with it. You know, let's deconstruct the superhero. This is deconstructing Superman. What if Superman was a villain? You know? Um and
If
hold on. Let me
okay,
let me because it's exactly what Omni-Man is. It's a deconstructed Superman. It is, what if Superman was evil? What if he was a conqueror? It's exactly what it is. Does he have all of Superman's powers? No, but he also doesn't have his main weakness, which is um well, I don't know. He doesn't have any weakness in season 1. Um oh, hello James. It's Lua Pizza. I acknowledge others like barbecue chicken pizza, but I hate red onions, not for me. But the R word and gore and the murder are and genocide are not my thing. It will it's well made and great long-term storytelling. Okay. So okay. Thank you. Thank you, James. You're making an excellent point there. Because there are very interesting aspects of this. There are interesting characters in this that are somewhat original ideas. Like everything is copied from something else. Let's be honest. There hasn't been anything really original in a long time. Um, but there are very interesting characters that are fairly unique to the show. And they're exploring some subjects that haven't been really explored in superhero stories before. And I like that. This is what I'm trying to get at. Like there are things about the show. I'm gonna just have our heads oops for now. There are things in the show that I like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm going to keep watching it for the things I like, but overall, there's a definite issues with it. And like, and like again, the whole. Let's start off with um, here's a copy of the Justice League. It was just like you could have had 5 other heroes or mixed it up a little bit and had Avengers type characters mixed with Justice League type characters, so it felt more different. But when everyone's definitely a copy from the Justice League, it was just like, okay. Um uh Hold on. Kasan says, but Omni-Man isn't evil. He's an authentic character with flaws, and he isn't stagnant and stuck in a status because the writers fear change. I saw an evil character, period. That's season 1. He's a pure evil character. I haven't watched season 2 and 3, and I've never read the books. So don't, like, you can make all the arguments you want. Season 1, Omni-Man is evil, period. No discussion. He tried to kill his own son. Evil, period. End of discussion. So yeah, uh again, we're talking season 1. Omni-Man is evil Superman. That's it. Like, there's no other argument there. He has a slight moment of consciousness at the end and leaves, and it's the only reason that Invincible survives. And it's just like, okay, and but like, you kind of get. I get the impression, again, from what I watched, he went back to his homeworld to just get an invading army and be done with it, not like, because it didn't even feel like he really had a turn. He just left. So that sounds like it's time to bring in the invaders, you know. But you're being quiet.
I'm just waiting for you to get it out.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
I will also say one of my other major issues with the storytelling aspect of this show, to me, a major flaw in this show was showing Omni-Man in the first episode killing. I don't get. I'm just going to keep calling them the Justice League, whatever the name of the
Guardians of the Globe.
Guardians of the Globe. Like, showing that in the first episode was a mistake. What they should have done is had him fly in, have this room go dark, and then have the lights go back on, and everyone's laying there, you know, in whatever state, and then reveal through the season things. And then when we get to the point with what's his wife's name, the mom's name,
I don't even remember.
when we get to that point where she's with the tailor and they figure it out, like, they definitely figure it out at that point, then it's like, oh, then have a flashback to that scene at that point. Let the audience try to, like, second guess him throughout the whole thing, and then, because if you just keep showing him being like a misunderstood, overpowered superhero that people are against, you might have a little more sympathy for him by the time uh, the end comes. Also, as again, this is why I brought up Matt, Karen's oldest son, who's a huge fan. He's like, that's how basically how it goes in the comics. They don't reveal right away he killed the Guardians of the Globe. Like, it's built up in the comics, and then you find, like, there's hints to it, and then you find finally gets revealed. Like, that's more interesting to me, right? Like, showing your cards right away, and boom, we're off, and, like, he's a bad guy, and it's just, when are they going to figure it out? It's just like, oh, okay. And I know they're trying to make it about the father-son relationship, but, like, it was a terrible relationship. In all honesty, once he realized his son had powers, it was all about just training him and making him, you know, the conqueror without telling him, and you knew that because you saw him kill. You knew he was a bad guy, so you knew all of his motivations were not good at that point. So it was just like, okay, whatever. Like, I can't I can't do this, like, in that sense. So, like, to me, that was a huge mistake of the show. They should have not revealed it right away. James says Eve is unique so that the multiple woman and Mark dealing with his dad being evil Superman is interesting. Thank you. I was going to say the two most redeeming characters in this show are Mark and Eve. Like, they're the two. Again, season 1, I don't know anything else yet. They're the two true superheroes of the show. They haven't done anything questionable yet. They both seem like they want to do good for the sake of good. They are true superheroes, and I like those. Those are my two favorite characters, which I kind of feel like they're supposed to be. Everyone else is so flawed, like so flawed. It's one thing to be kind of flawed, but they're all so flawed. Frosty says, "Dave, you sound like John." Maybe. Oh, and James is right. Yeah, the Immortal is Wolverine. That's what we were trying to figure out. Matt and I were talking about, like, you could see who everyone was. He's like, "But who do you think the Immortal is?" And I think it's like, I will say this: he's probably the one Marvel character they threw in. He's Wolverine. Well, he's OP Wolverine because he can fly and also seems to have super strength. So yeah, but he can die and come back. He's the Immortal. So, do you have any rebuts? Rebuts?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. But I also have to keep in mind that you've only seen the first season. So I
Yeah.
do think a lot of your criticisms are going to be cured. And you've said that if you keep watching, which you said you will do. So
Yes.
I'm not that distressed about that. I still do have to disagree, though, even with season 1 being in a vacuum. I really don't see it as this is Superman if he was evil. I do see it more of this is Goku if he was evil or stayed evil. I see it more akin to Dragon Ball with the Saiyans, the Viltrumites equal Saiyans, which they're a conquering race. Where you would send a baby onto a planet so that he could transform into a huge Orozu ape and take it over by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Superman came from a ruined planet. You've mentioned Omni-Man. He is a conqueror. And I get what you're saying about, okay, maybe we shouldn't have started off with watching him kill off the Guardians of the Globe. And I understand your criticism of the Guardians of the Globe, but they really were like, they're not even hiding the fact that they're a Justice League copy.
Yeah.
You will get to know the new Guardians of the Globe, and they're not quite such a carbon copy of the Justice.
No, because like Robot Man I was gonna say
right,
he's the
Robot Man.
He is such a robot, not Robot Man. He is such a unique and complex character. Definitely has a twisted moral compass, and so I can see that. Like, and actually, my Matt said that Robot ended up being his favorite character in whole out of the comics and the series. So I kind of want to keep watching to see where his story goes. Yeah, I mean, like Duplicate is another.
Did you meet the Mauler twins yet?
They're the ones that give Robot
Clone
his
and
body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. That's all season 1. That's all season 1. He's got he has a body. The one guy is definitely Gambit.
Yeah.
Where he charges stuff and it explodes. Yeah. The new team seems more akin to the Avengers or the X-Men.
Well, then there's Monster Girl, who like that's the Hulk.
That's the Hulk.
But she does have that little thing where, like, the more she transforms, the younger she gets.
Because it's a curse, like Werewolf by Night. So let's take Werewolf by Night and combine him with Hulk, and there you go.
But yeah, so Thrawn Kill, there's at least 3, as long as we count Mark is Asian, which he is. So there is definitely Asian representation in this show. Um,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, and just so I don't see your this is just evil Superman thing because I wouldn't like it then. I see it a lot more that I do get the father son angle. I love the speech where yes, he's beating his son to a pulp, which as a father I would never do. But it is kind of his speech is kind of cool where he's like, look, he points to some fighter jets. Look how much fucking effort they have to extend just to copy a fraction of what our power. Explaining to him that yeah, you love your mother, you love these people, you love they're
Which
all
also
gonna be dead. Like that's a very interesting
which
dynamic.
also shows that on his whatever 17 years on the planet, he learned nothing about humanity and nothing about human love and nothing about he and it's like
And
I
you'll
get.
know more. You'll know why. You will know why. You'll once you I think once you learn more about the Viltrumites and what he's there to do,
But
I
I
think
guess don't
you'll
forget,
you'll lose the analogy a little bit more.
I mean, obviously I know Invincible came out first, but this is also the same freaking story as Man of Steel.
Yeah, yes it is actually. Very much
So
so.
yeah,
I'll
like
give you that.
yeah,
If he had a son though, that also was Superman, and which you'll learn the significance of that. But
he's
anyway,
called John Kent. He is
right?
a character in the comics now. He does have a son that has his powers, who's half human. It's like they DC caught up, but they're copying Invincible. But yeah, it's Invincible first copied DC. Now DC's copying
I'm
Invincible.
glad that you're going to continue because I think you're going to. I think a lot of it's going to make more sense and differentiate itself from what you think it is.
And then what we had because there was again like another aspect I didn't like. Not this because again because I know who Kirkman is. He's the Walking Dead guy. So he definitely has a um darker look on humanity. Like he does he thinks everyone is evil and flawed um but that's the thing, the Mark helps out that guy. I can't think of the character's name. He can
Cecil.
turn his skin to stone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember that guy's name either. But yeah,
And because
get
he's
you.
working for Machine Head
How
to
funny
get
is Machine Head? Come on. How hilarious is
the
Machine?
auto tune was a little annoying for his voice.
Oh, come
And I'm sure that, that was something they thought was clever when
on.
they were doing the cartoon, but it quickly got annoying to me. Um, so yeah, and I also kind of realized that Machine Head is probably not dead because he's a robot. His memory can be stored somewhere or whatever. But
And it is from a comic book. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
but like this guy gives him this whole speech about like doing real good and helping out, you know, and he convinces Mark to help him out, and they go and fight so that he can like not have to work for Machine Head anymore, and this big bloody battle, and Mark almost dies for this, and then the guy just ends up taking over the gangster empire at the end, and it was just like, really? Like, no hope for humanity. Like, screw it. We're all screwed. Everyone's evil. Fuck it. You're all gonna die. It's pointless. And it's just like I can't do like superhero show needs to uplift me at some point, and this did not do that at all. Like it was just everyone's flawed, everyone's evil
Yeah, I don't know
at
how
some level.
uplifting of a show this is. I'll give you that because you're going to learn more about Cecil and the American government, or the people that are actually in charge of the Guardians of the
Oh yeah,
Globe
they
and the
definitely have an
scientists, which
agenda.
they, yeah,
The fact that
Cecil's like he's Nick Fury on steroids.
the fact that they would use those cyborg technology that this evil scientist came up with was just like, okay.
I'm
Um,
okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't have very many critiques of the writing of this show, but that is one of them. There what is the why have the human cyborg thing where they're basically all cyborg now except for their teeth? What is the advantage? What are the human jaw makes it so that when you make an android, you must maintain
There is
the
a
dead
lot.
person's dental
There is
apparatus?
there is a lot because it was like he because the thing is the guy really obviously just wanted to create robots that he can control and fight for him. And
And
like because
display
when
their
you
pearly whites.
right, because like when you cut out people's brains so they can't have their own thoughts anymore, um you're kind of like you just want automatons. So it was like, yeah, that is a
Yeah,
big flaw. Like, just make robots then. Like, if you've
just make
got
robots.
if your technology is that advanced that you can graft robot parts to humans and it works fine, then you can just build robots at that point. Um, uh, everyone is not evil. Everyone is selfish and suffering from lack of
Well,
foresight.
right. I mean,
Oh, you
because
sound like Omni Man there. Um,
well, well, no. I mean, as much as I think like Sissel and I can't remember the Ministry of Defense or whatever the fuck they call it. Like, as much as I can really critique what
Shield.
they're doing, yeah, this is a world where fucking aliens do just straight up fucking portal into Earth, and start going
Yeah.
ham, or big fucking Tarask just shows up, and
Well,
starts to
there's
fuck
also
a city
no.
up.
Yeah, that's the whole thing too. Like, it's one of these stories where you're just jumping in right where all of this is going on. There's no, like, we started at this point and it built up, like having, because there could be an argument of having a a, a Vegemite on the planet attracted all of these other things to try to conquer Earth or whatever.
Did you call it a Vegemite?
Yeah, he's a Vegemite. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's none of that in the show. So it's like, how did we get to this point? Why is there like the Cecil and the Shield have this army of cyborgs, and why do they have their own version of the Justice League and or
Well,
the
what's
Avengers?
funny is not to really spoil anything for you, but as you progress in seasons 2 and 3, you'll kind of see Mark put a side eye to that shit. That's just what I'll leave it there.
Oh, I'm sure, because
Like
again,
that's a
they're definitely suspect. They're definitely sus, as the kids would say.
kids
Um,
would say.
but yeah, I think
I'm happy you're going to continue to watch it. So I'm glad you know, because I think it's going to make more sense to you.
and then I have to say this. I have to. This is my one of my other critiques. Amber, that's the girlfriend's name, right? One of the
Oh
worst.
yeah, no, yeah, no.
One of
She's
the
worse than
worst.
Mary Jane from the yeah.
One of the worst written female characters in comic book history. Look,
I agree. I'm not.
and
Yeah, that.
I feel like Robert Kirkman was a fan of As Good as It Gets. Have you seen that movie, Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt?
Yes,
And one of my
parts of it.
favorite lines of all times, when a fan goes up to, because Jack Nicholson plays an author in the book, writes, I guess, romance novels or something, and
Yeah,
uh, a fan goes up to him and says, "How do you write women so well?" And he goes, "Well, I think of a man, and I take away
right.
reason and accountability." And it's like, oh, that's how Robert Kirkman writes women. Um,
I
because
get it.
like I'm sorry, the whole thing of she's mad at him because he's late and doesn't show up or whatnot, and then he almost dies, uh and then and then he runs away when they're at the college because he's got to go fight the cyborgs and all that stuff. And then she's like, "That's it, it's over. I'm going to dump you." And he reveals, well, the reason that all this is happening is because I'm invincible. And she turns around and goes, "I knew that, but you didn't trust me to tell me." Wait, but you figured out and you didn't say anything to him? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, and if that's how you think women are, then you don't know how to write women, and it's just like, yeah, a woman would have kept going out with him and leading him on, and then when he reveals it, dump him. Like, it was stupid. It was so poorly written. It was like, that is not how women are. Um, you know, just it was just terrible.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not focused on that part of the show. That's bathroom
but
time for me at that point.
and that's the whole thing too, is that is the as you you have said too, like there's some CW crap in the show with the teen angst stuff with him in high school and all that. And it's like, I get you got to have some of that, but that was just over the top. Like, nah, I it's like, I don't know. I want to write this character off right now. She's
Nah, go
terrible.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm telling you, don't. She won't be. Yeah, it's okay.
Because that was my thing too. Because it was like then she comes back to him at the end, and it was just like, really?
Yeah, no,
I would
she's worse than Mary Jane in the Sam
I
Raimi
would have
Spider-Man.
I would have been like, "Nah," like, if I was that's the other thing, if I was Mark, I would have been like, "Nah, I'm good." Like,
Yeah,
I'll go date Eve. Like, go
yeah.
away.
I'll go date the chick that can like make a hotel room out of nowhere. You know, we'll do that. No
I'll
problem.
date the chick who's also a superhero and gets
Right.
it, and gets the importance of
Yeah.
me missing a family dinner, you know? Um, so
Yeah. Don't get involved in. Oh, here we go.
motives and ambitions are not evil. If so, 8 billion people alive are all evil. No, no, only about 7 billion are evil. I think there's about a billion good people on the planet. Uh, have you been on the internet lately? Anyway, so
Yeah, and most.
deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
so yeah, like I said, I want to see I want to see Robot Story evolve. I want to see what happens with him and Monster Girl. I uh, um kind of rooting that he does find a cure, but we'll see. Which again brings that Hulk analogy because it's a curse and she wants to be cured so that she doesn't keep getting younger. And um
I'm gonna be honest with you, at least up until this point. I mean, yeah, that's a thing, that's a side story, and that'll definitely get some development, but it's really gonna focus more on Mark's evolution, Omni Man's evolution. Some other fucked up shit happens that puts a whole nother spin on what the fuck's going on. So just yeah, just keep watching it, and
well,
you're
and I will say that too. When I was watching the fight in the final episode is kind of like I was like digging some of the stuff in the final episode with the whole fight between him and his dad is really like when I started checking out because I was just having a hard time with the concept of any father. I'm sorry, any father doing that to their child was just like, nah, I can't, I can't stand that. And like
but you're gonna learn more that's gonna again, as a father of three, I would
the
never justify any of that shit, but
the
you're gonna learn more.
the scene in the subway, he's like holding his head and the
That was
subway,
fucked up. Yeah, no, there's no doubt there. No,
and I'm
that's
like,
I get you.
I'm watching and I'm like, this is done for pure shock value. It really was. Let's be honest. That scene was for shock value, and it was just like, no, no, I can't do it. I could accept the whole building collapse thing, and he's holding the woman's arm after the building collapses, like, and that's heartbreaking and like, okay, but that was enough. And then his dad shows up and does the subway thing, and it was just like, no,
Or what about the guy he saved and Omni Man just came? It was like,
yeah,
what about him?
yeah, like,
Yeah, no, Omni Man's a dick. There's no doubt there, but there's character progression there. And I'm not saying that I ever see even Omni the character of Omni Man would have a long way to go as far as redemption is concerned. But the dynamic between him and Mark, the whole Viltrumite Empire thing, there's a lot more that you're going to learn that I think will really differentiate it from the Superman story for you.
All right. Well, again, I'm going to keep watching. I'll learn more about the Vegemites, and we'll see. Because hey, I can go down under with the best of them. There's your second inappropriate comment of the week.
Oh. Well, look how much chat we got going on over this subject.
I know.
So yeah, you keep watching this fucking thing. Love the engagement, guys.
Frosty says, "You guys can't look at the show from Mark's point of view, and he's not even fully matured, let alone understand the responsibility of being a Vegemite. I mean, a superhero. This is not the show to be inspired." I don't know.
It's not. You're right. This is not the show I put on to be like, I feel good today. Yeah. But
I'm
I
gonna
do
go
find
have
it
a Vegemite
interesting.
sandwich.
And I think in the end, it'll be a lot brighter of a story. But I don't want to spoil anything.
All right. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
And I've never read the comic, so I can't even, I'm not even that guy. Just FYI.
All right. Well, that's what I think so far. I'm gonna keep watching. We'll keep talking about it.
Good.
I don't know if I'll get all of season 2 in before the next time we get together. Maybe next Sunday. We shall see. But until then, I do have a question for you, Don.
Yeah.
What do we learn on the show tonight?
Or do you have a recommendation?
I learned that a red light instantly makes you evil.
Yeah.
Gives you powers. Corrupts you to the point where you dare criticize Invincible. So
well,
that's what I learned. Recommendation.
There, I'll make it. I'm a little less evil now. How's that?
Okay, a little less. Recommendation is that you stay tuned to the channel, where hopefully me and Dave will start streaming some Marvel Rivals, and otherwise, pay attention to the Discord, because I play just some video games. Currently, I'm playing through Suikoden 1, and then I'll go to Suikoden 2. But of course, you got to play Suikoden 1 first, gather all 108 characters, so then you can take that save over to Suikoden 2 and get the best ending. So that's life for me right now, video game wise. So I recommend that. I also recommend that you do what I did. If you're a Magic the Gathering fan and a Final Fantasy fan, good news for you. They're going to make Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards. They're coming out in June. I meant to say this earlier in the show, and you asked about the week. I personally ordered me a box of 30 boosters and a commander pack, and I'm just stoked about it. So I wanted to mention it tonight here on the show. But I recommend that if you do want those Final Fantasy cards, pre-order them now. Otherwise, people are going to charge a shitload for them later. So there's my recommendations.
All right. I learned you got to be careful of criticizing things that people love, because it'll make the chat fire up. Lots of people talking tonight about our opinions on this show, or my opinions. They still like you, Don.
I'm sure at some point those tables will turn.
I also recommend that. Oh wait, real quick. What's James say? The long-term Vegemite story does make Omni-Man character art far better. All right. Well, I'm hoping the Vegemites are tasty. I'm going to recommend, if you've gotten this far in the podcast and you haven't done so for yet, hit that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live Wednesday and Sunday nights right here on YouTube. Smash that like button. It does help with the algorithm, gets our name out there even further. And if you haven't done so yet, check out our merch store. Link in the description below. Get yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt today. They are the greatest podcast t-shirts on the internet. That is what everyone is saying, or at least that is what I have heard. Yeah, also I don't know what we're talking about Wednesday. We'll figure that out. I'm going to be recording an interview with our guest. It's going to be a pre-recorded thing. I don't know if I'm just going to play that Wednesday. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. As soon as we know, you'll know. Become a member. Click on the join below, because again, there will be more exclusive stuff coming. You're not going to want to miss that. And hey, join the top tier and get a free Superhero Speak t-shirt, because you can look good. The women dig them, I'm telling you. See, they love them. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I'll go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week, every time it goes up. I think, I don't know. I'm so behind on posting on the website. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews, and so much more. Don will be having a comic book review out shortly, so keep an eye on the channel for that. And that's it. That's all I got. So until next time, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or two. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit